Alrighty, so if you thought it was difficult for me to talk last time, let me tell you, buddy, right now we have the stitches tore. So imagine torn stitches down here, and there's like this gelatin ball of coagulated blood, like that's being held together by like the stitches, and I don't know. So I was FaceTiming with my mom today, and she was like, "You look weird." And it was hurting to laugh because of the deformity. So if you see this side that's, puffy or chunky, that's because I'm dying. Fucking sucks. But here we are. It's a very brief lecture today. So bear with me as I struggle to speak around these stitches that are in my mouth. And I'm getting cookies after this. I was on the thing with my mom and I was teasing her about making me some, mailing me some chocolate chip cookies, because I was like, I can't eat anything. Like I'm sucking down taquitos, like soft, chicken and cheese taquitos from Target in the frozen section. It hurts to laugh every time I do that. But it's a soft tortilla, so I just sort of like on one side just and it dawned on me that she was like, what about pudding and this? And I was like, oh, I haven't had pudding since I was a child. And then she was like, and then I was like, oh man, chocolate chip cookie sounds good. You should mail me some. She was like, I bought you a cookie sheet. She said you can go get Toll House cookies and you can make them. And I said, wait a second, you're right. By golly. Because I always eat diet food. So everything that's in my house is just diet food. So I have eggs and I have spinach and I have tuna and I have salmon and I have honey and I have oatmeal. It's the easiest way to diet. You just don't have garbage in your house. And so if you don't have anything in the vicinity, then there's no temptation to give into. It's like, if I don't have it, I can't have it, right? And they're like, oh, but I get a Uber Eats or DoorDash, or yeah, you fucking fat fuck, no. Or I could simply walk to, Target, which is literally in walking distance, which is where I'm going right after this lecture. So, without more dilly-the-dally, without any further ado, my name is Tarek Haux. How do you do? So, law number 37 is create compelling spectacles. Create compelling spectacles. And I thought of two things when I read that. Create compelling spectacles as a law of power. I thought of Willy Wonka. I don't know if you know this, but Gene Wilder, the contingency for him taking the role as Willy Wonka was to do that front flip that he did, where like he pretends like he's crippled and then he leans forward and then he falls and he does a front flip, and as a surprise, what you see in the children's like reaction, that was genuine. They didn't know he was going to do that. I bet you didn't know that. Spectacle creates an air of mystery. It gives you an aura. It gives you a larger than life persona. It makes you unpredictable, right? And so all of these things heighten your, perceived respect and admiration towards others, because it makes you appear larger than life. Now, the next thing I thought of was Aladdin, where it's Prince Ali, yes it is he, Ali Ababa, all the showmanship, all the elephants, and all of the whatever the fuck they list in the song, I don't know what the whole list is. Goes in, all the showmanship, and then he wins the attention of not so much the princess, but of the serpent, Jafar. Ecstatic. He is one of my favorite villain characters by far. But most importantly, the Sultan. However, the detriment to that showmanship, and this is where I want to start the lecture off, which is to tread carefully in this endeavor of creating compelling spectacles. I put the danger when the spectacle is you. Because if we study history, i.e. Ali Ababa, Prince Ali of Ababa, he had to pretend to be somebody he wasn't. And the princess liked him as the street rat, as the riffraff street rat, not this prancing, puff, this twink, this fairy. This guy that he wasn't. And here's the deal though. When you pretend to be somebody that you're not, for the sake of recognition, approval, validation, trying to win somebody over, trying to convince them of your value, of your worth, you'll always have to do that. And if you hear me taking long pauses, it's because I'm like, partially swallowing blood. You'll always have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so I see that all the time with social media. And I love that I heard this from Andrew Tate. I'm so grateful that he said this. He said, if you go the jester route, the clown route, the attention grabbing, clickbait entertainment thing, it's a downward spiral. It's a race to the bottom. Because to continue to get virality, to continue to get attention, you have to continue to degrade yourself until you're a bigger fucking idiot, until you're a bigger clown, until your soul is literally on fire from a lifetime of pretending to be somebody who's not you. For who? For what? There's a quote, I believe it's from the Bible, that said, if you gain the world at the cost of your soul, have you gained anything? What have you gained? And I know so many people on social media. I don't know them personally, but I watch them. I observe. And I'm just so fucking grateful that I'm choosing the very slow return route. Dude, we just crossed 294 subscribers, right? But even while it goes up one at a time, it goes up by me being my fucking self. Not a character, not someone I'm pretending to be, not a fucking clown, not someone to entertain you, not a jester, not a stupid motherfucker. I get to be Target Oaks. I get to be myself. And then the people who resonate, they resonate. The people who don't, they can fuck off. It doesn't matter, right? I'm not pizza. I'm not chocolate chip cookies, Toll House. I can't please everybody, right? But more importantly, I get the joy of being myself, which is what most people have the greatest fear of. I posted this today on Instagram. Most people are so terrified to embody who they are, themselves. And if you go through your whole life, I learned this, if you go through your whole life pretending to be somebody that you're not, you'll never find the people who love you for you, because you didn't allow yourself to be seen. You didn't allow yourself to be seen. So instead, because you have fear of what your peers and your coworkers and all these stupid motherfuckers think about you, you forfeit the opportunity for you to be truly seen, as in the ones who fucking love and adore you for you. Not for a character, a courtier, a fucking Wat Weasel in the rat life that you're pretending to be. Not a jester or clown that you're pretending to be. Not a character that you're pretending to be for likes, for messages, for validation, for approval, right? For recognition from fucking idiots who don't give a fuck about you, who don't matter, who contribute nothing to your life. You know what I'm saying? Don't add anything. So when I made that decision of just, this is exhausting, I don't want to be somebody I'm not, it's such a relief. It's such a weight off the shoulders. And if you study comedians, there's a common theme of them. And don't get me wrong, I'm a very funny person. I know many a humor. I'm very funny. I can make people laugh. I'm fucking hilarious. But I don't embody that character full time. And the reason is because if you just study people who go the route of employment by pretending to be a jester, pretending to be the clown, and that's how they get their validation, that's how they, fill their cup of their significance, it's at the cost of their fucking mental health. How many of them do you know who are alcoholics, who are drug addicts, who commit suicide, who have the deepest fucking depression? Why? It's from a lifetime of pretending to be somebody that they're fucking not, for the entertainment of others. What a fucking life is that, man? Your life purpose is to be a fucking clown for other people? Now, argument can be made. Like Jim Carrey said, I bring joy and laughter to other people, right? I make other people's lives feel better by alchemizing my pain. And that's fair. However, I ask you, to what end? To what end? If it's at the cost of your soul, of your peace, of your mental health, of your happiness, then you enact the quote from Tony Robbins, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Because you've gained the fucking world and you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, you're not at peace, you don't feel genuine joy, love, ecstasy, passion, excitement inside. You're a fucking loser. You're a complete failure. At the height of what? Views, attention, status. For a character you have to fucking pretend to be. And some people are okay with that, man. Some people, that's the spin of the dice, the roll of the dice. They cast the die. That's how they want to spend their life. With the weight of a mask, the weight of countless masks, of pretending to be a motherfucker that they're not. So that was the first thing that I thought of when I read this law. Creating compelling spectacles. I said, tread fucking carefully. I said, to what end? I said, at the cost of your soul? Fuck no. But most people, they have no patience. And I love that my journey of personal development started with fitness, because right now I'm on year 12. And that's year 12 through injury after setback, after fucking herniated disc, torn meniscus, the pec shoulder tear. When I traveled and I lost like 20 or 30 pounds and I came back emaciated, looked like I never stepped foot in the gym. And I was at the 10-year mark. And I did a dirty bulk. I got to 237 pounds. I started off at 145 pounds. So I've been everywhere in between on this journey. And it taught me delayed gratification, man. That has transcended into everything else that I've applied it to. It's taught me an immense patience. So I'm not in a rush to build what I'm building here with Rat Life, because we're laying one brick at a time. We're laying the foundation of this fucking properly, right? So we can build something of beauty, of value, long lasting on top of it. But if we were to rush it, if we were to cut the corners, if we were to sacrifice our morals for the sake of a quick return, a quick buck, a quick virality, a quick attention, I ask you, to what end, right? When this could be fucking great. When you die and you get to look at the man you could have been and that person is a mere reflection of you. Wow, I'm so glad I did it. I was thinking about it recently. I was thinking about, because I'm at the sort of crossroads, you could say. I had a great message that I sent to one of my dear friends. And I said, she's been like out of relationships for a very long time. And she's been abstinent for a very long time. And in pockets of her life. And so I needed her counsel because what I'm doing right now is, you could say, sort of saving myself for my person. As in, I'm trying to do everything that I can to be in alignment with what I say I want, which is just twin flame divine union with my fucking person, right? And so I've foregone temptation, I've declined, suitors, women, just fuck off. I want to prove to God I am consistent with what I say I want. However, I'm getting to the point where this was the question that I posed to her from somebody who had way more patience, way more discipline. And if you're a woman, you've turned down 1,000 more people than guys turn down. And so her counsel was well heeded and valuable, and I really appreciated it. And I told her that. And I asked her, I said, at what point do you stop consciously denying love and connection from other people while you're sort of waiting for God to fulfill his promise? She gave me a great reply that I needed to hear. She said, I don't think you should question his timing. And I don't think you should give in to this temptation of this, And then because I told her, I said, I feel like I'm so close. I feel like I'm right there. I feel like if you think of success as a highway and all you have to do is just make it to until, right? Until, but people can take excess at any time. And when I was younger, I had the mentality of, I know we're getting on a kind of tangent, but I want to share this with you guys, of I'm going to have fun with Mrs. Wrong until I find Mrs. Right. And I wrote this in my book. What it reminded me of was Bruce Wayne from Batman, where he's walking out of his hotel with 2 Europeans about to go have a threesome, the kind of guy who I was when I was younger. And in walks in the woman he actually wants, Rachel. And he's like, Rachel? She's like, Bruce. And she looks at the girls, and then Bruce looks at the girls and looks back at Rachel, and he says, Rachel, this isn't me. There's more inside. And she said something I've never forgotten. She said, it's not who you are on the inside that counts. It's what you do that defines you. And as cheesy, as cliche, whatever, when that was paramount of my mind, this was probably 2023. I think it was 2023. The mantra that I kept reiterating was, are my actions consistent with what I say I want? And so I told God, I want my person, I want my kingdom spouse, I want my wife. And because it's been longer than I've wanted, and I've learned that God will make you wait longer to develop your faith, to develop your patience, which has never been a virtue of mine. Despite I sell myself short. I do have a lot of patience, but there's other things where I don't have that much patience for. And your strength. in your belief, in your faith, right? So I was at that sort of end of my ride here, where I'm just like, I'm so over it. I'm just like, I want my person, fuck this, kind of a deal. And there was such a sense of calm when you shifted the perspective lens, or when I shifted it, that what if you're fucking right there? What if you're a day, a week, a month, whatever, for the person that you get to spend the rest of your fucking life with? Like, would you, and I'm, imagining I'm God, I'm like, would you, and I shared this in a prayer lecture, would it be worth the wait if I gave you something when it was ready, as if you placed an order? Imagine you're not in not saying your wife is an order, kind of. Imagine you place an order at a restaurant, and it's the equivalent of you telling universe, source, God, what it is that you want. When you're in a restaurant, you don't distrust that your order's on its way. You're not fretting about it. You're not looking at the fucking menu for other things, unless like alcohol or dessert. You're in complete trust that it's coming. So you're in a calm, relaxed state, right? So you're on the vibrational frequency of receiving. But when you're not, the promise isn't fulfilled, and you're just in this sort of waiting season, and you're just like, okay, maybe I'll just look at something else. Maybe I'll download a dating app. Maybe I'll go entertain this person. Maybe I'll talk to this person. Maybe this. And then it's just proof that you're not ready. It's proof that you don't trust that it's on its way. It's proof that you're not in the vibrational frequency of that, of receiving that which you seek. And so I tie it all in as a huge tangent, to be honest, from the spectacle part of the lecture, but I just think it's important. And I have such a good peace right now. Like, I don't have any dating apps. I feel very calm with the fulfillment of God's promise. And it gives you a lot of peace of mind. It gives you a lot of, just relax. Just focus on yourself. Just continue to become the person, the best possible version of yourself. It was a quote that I learned from Jordan Peterson. He said, how do I get my dream person? He said, that's a stupid question. How do I become the person that has the most that I possibly could offer somebody else? When you answer that question, you'll find yourself with the other one by default. So the point is, long story made long, you have a highway of success. And there's exits all along the way. You could quit any fucking time, right? You could sleep with this person, you could sleep with this person, you could hook up with this person, this one night, this bullshit, for the sake of connection, which is what most people do. Most people forego what they actually want and the patience required to receiving it for the instant gratification, right? And they give up, and they give up, and they give up, and they have fun with Mr. or Mrs. Wrong while they're waiting for Mrs. Right. Not understanding that, like Bruce Wayne, having fun with all the Mrs. Wrongs was perpetuating you not receiving Mrs. Right. And it's the same thing when you're pretending to be a person that you're not, right? At any time you could choose to be authentic. You can make it there, right? But people choose and harbor the patience required to do that, because you're not going to get sales. You're not going to get virality. You're going to be boring to most people. Nobody's going to give a fuck about you, right? Because they want the entertainment. They want the spectacle. They want the show. They want the, it's a feast for the eyes. I learned this on a mushroom trip. People love to see things that they've never seen before. It's as simple as that sounds. That's why when you see people like 6ix9ine is a good example, who has a fucking tatted face and rainbow hair, and all these people with these ridiculous sized, everything, you've never seen it before. And so when they splash each other with paint and all this, it's a spectacle. It's a feast for the eyes of something that you have never seen. And that kind of garbage gets all the attention, gets all the likes, gets all the comments, gets all the monetization. It's short-term gratification. Versus if you had the courage to be yourself, to harbor patience, that I'm going to be true to me and it's gonna work out. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna break through, right? I'm gonna attain my goal. I think it'll be well worth it in the end. Imagine that. Imagine you get what it is you want. You get the success with fulfillment because you didn't forego your soul in the process. You didn't sell out, right? For the instant gratification, for the quick fix. You didn't give up on your kingdom spouse for a fleeting moment. Does that make sense? So, anyway, that was my concern when I first read this law. Create compelling spectacles when the spectacle is you, when you're playing a character, right? Who's not you. And don't get me wrong, this was part of my question with God, because I'm a very charismatic, charming person. And I said, I can't suppress this much fucking longer, God, you know? And I apologize with God using my profanity, but it's just, you can only sort of, when you see someone, you know, who you would otherwise, in a past life, you know, conquer, achieve conquest with. Like, I'm not a timid person. I'm not a coward. I'm not a non-charming, non-charismatic, seductive, whatever you want to call it, kind of guy. So suppressing that fucking natural male testosterone, whatever instinct, I've not enjoyed, because I'm not liking pretending to be somebody who I'm not. However, there's no way that I want to not be consistent with what I say I want. It's like, I want my woman. I want this queen, dude. Would her king, not to be cliche or cheesy, would he be doing this, right? Would he be entertaining these people? No. I honestly think a guy who has a woman that no other guy can have, who looks at him with that level of like respect and adoration and admiration, like a king, like he's just heaven on earth, I think that's a million times more valuable. And that's essentially what a wife is. Rarer than rubies. Then when you have a roster, which is what the modern day dating fucking place is. There was a chick who I was talking to, this is what I shared with my friend. And like I said, very charming when I talk and this. And I was sort of teasing them. And we're going to get into the book Seduction once the 48 Laws of Power are complete. But I told you guys in a previous lecture, you want to keep the rose to flirt ratio very high. And then I was like, I said something about how that's strike 2. And she was like, what was strike 1? And then I teased her about wearing, and she had a photo, she was wearing a sweater around her waist at the beach. And I said, that's selfish. And then I told her about, my tonsils and this and this. And, or my wisdom teeth removed, not my tonsils. And how, I can't eat because, how she betrayed me. I was teasing her a lot. And as a result, she sent me a picture of her ass with like an emoji of the peach covering it. And she said, when you're feeling this better, why don't you come eat this cake? That's fucking modern dating, dude. Now, spoiler alert, I unmatched, deleted that app. I said, this is fucking garbage. I said, that's not a real woman. That's not a wife. That's garbage, But then you sort of feel that like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? You guys resonate. But it's just like modern fucking dating and modern this. It's such garbage. And to find quality people, and maybe my standards are just too high, but it's just, I'm so over the desensitization of it being widely accepted for everyone to be a promiscuous hoe. And it's like, I told this to my friend, I said, everybody wants a hoe, right? But we want our hoe. You know what I mean? Like, you want a lady in the street and then a freak in the bed. I said, yeah, but that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants the woman that they can introduce to their mother, yet at the same time, the one who's going to make them blush. I don't want the one who is for the streets, So anyway, it takes a lot of strength. Do you see how we bring it full circle? To make it to until, to make it to breakthrough, to have the courage to trust God. Because that's what I said when I was walking home the other day I did a light workout, or I went to Target. I told God, I said, I'm betting on you on this one. I said, it's all on you. Because I know that your person, such a thing, dude, is written in the stars, So I don't want to live my one life settling for anything less. I don't want anything or anyone else than my person. I see it all the time, man. I see the people who settle for comfortability and complacency and the situationships and all this garbage because they just feared. The fear was, I'm never going to get my actual person. It's never going to come. This is my last chance. They gave into fear, and so they gave up. And that's what it is. When you choose something that you don't want, that you're not ecstatic about, that this isn't my version of heaven on earth, and then you're spinning a story in your head, and you're justifying it, and you're rationalizing it, of why you chose this, and how this is what you actually want, and how all those things that you actually wanted, no, those weren't what I actually wanted. that's how you live with regret, man. That's how you live a life with a burden of what if. And I've said it to God. I said I would rather be alone, knowing that I proved to you I was consistent with what I said I wanted in my actions, and the non-fulfillment if that's the case. But I will not look back and wonder what if, had I not, what would happen if I, held on a little longer and didn't give in to this instant gratification. And I just delayed a little bit, and I kept that faith, and I kept that trust, and I kept that belief. I said, for my order to be ready on time, right? And then you're given something that lasts for a lifetime, not one fucking night. So that's where we're at. All right, one more thing. This fucking mouth thing is killing me now. The other thing I thought with creating compelling spectacles was Julius Caesar. I don't know if you know this, but I studied classics when I was an undergrad at UCLA. And one of my favorite stories from one of my professors was, rumor has it, on the day that Julius Caesar was assassinated. So if you don't know this, the most expensive dye in antiquity was purple. I'm sorry, the most royal color was purple. I ruined it, which is my favorite color. For no particular reason other than with the story that I'm about to explain. Because it was the most expensive dye. I don't know how it's done. I think you crush snails or something to create the dye. Purple was the most expensive, most rare and exotic. And so what consuls would do is, which was second to the emperor, I hear somebody outside, they would wear a thin strip to display status with humility. Rumor has it on the day that Julius Caesar got assassinated, he wore an entire robe of people. Imagine that. Imagine your leader. It's the equivalent of them being iced up, right? Wearing all this chains and all this garbage and walking in as if, how much of a peasant would you feel like? It's like, we know you're the second most powerful person in the entire empire, right? In the entire known world at this point. And you're going to flaunt it? You're going to flex on us that hard? Brutus, get him. That is a danger of creating such a spectacle. That's why the Julius Caesar story came to mind. Doesn't that add rich context to this lecture? You learn something, you get something away from it, everybody goes home happy, right? Fuck. Okay. Quote from the book. The best way to use images and symbols, this is like a warning as well, is to organize them into a grand spectacle that awes people and distracts them from unpleasant realities. Politicians do this better than anybody. While Rome was burning, the emperor at the time, I don't remember if it was Nero or a later one, they were doing circuses and gladiatorial events. Why? To keep you distracted while the empire was fucking crumbling in real time. What do you think has changed, man? And so you're getting distracted. They put you in the festival crowd. They put you on social media. They have these fucking clowns. There's a new headline every fucking week. Oh, did you hear about the Luka Doncic trade? Nobody gives a fuck. Oh, wait. Stupid people do. Dumb people do. Sheep do. Recently, on every social media fucking reel that's finding of WWE shit that I don't even watch. Oh my gosh, did you see the video with John Cena and then The Rock, and then The Rock went like this? And you see these fucking retards who are the audience members who pay thousands of dollars for these seats to watch this garbage. And you see people around the world who watch these videos, who make reactions to these videos. They're the most lost. That's the scariest part. These people are so fucking distracted that they're actually emotionally and financially invested into something that doesn't fucking matter in the slightest. Meanwhile, their mental health, fucked. Their financial health, fucked. I guess except for the people who have thousands of dollars to spend on these fucking front row seats to this stupid fucking event. We said physical, yes. We said mental, yes. Financial. It's just, they're in fucking depression. They hate their life. They can't look at themselves in the mirror naked smiling. They don't like the fucking partner that they're dating. And they're pretending to be a clown on social media with these fake reaction posts for likes. And I say, my God. Because it's all a distraction from, you have to understand, it's all a distraction from your personal development. Like you understand that, right? Everything that you're seeing on social media, the news that you watch, the radio that you listen to, the gossip from celebrities, all of this fucking garbage is distracting you from, number one, remembering who you are and the God source divinity that's inside of you. That's number one. And you can add on to that. I put in a post recently, or today on Instagram, that I wonder if we'll ever achieve a mass awakening where people understand, just like in the movie A Bug's Life, we outnumber the people who are doing the oppression 10,000 to 1. And the only reason this fucking house of cards is allowed to stand is because all the sheep think they're disempowered. When just by voluminous number, the whole game would change if you knew your power. But how can we keep you asleep to the power that you have? Stay with me. I'm not trying to be hippie when I say this. It's by keeping you numb and docile and dumb and stupid and fatigued. How can we achieve that? Let's make you work very, very long hours. Let's make you sleep deprived. Let's poison your food. Let's get you addicted to scrolling. Let's flood your dopamine receptors. Let's incentivize you choosing unhealthy options because it's fucking cheaper to eat garbage than it is to eat high protein bodybuilding food. Bodybuilding is the most expensive fucking sport there is. And so what is the consequence of that? You feel lazy, lethargic, tired all the time. A sense of loss of passion, of direction, right? Of clarity. You have a mental fog. You're under fucking LED lights for 10 hours a day. Then you come home, you have no energy to do anything. And what are you doing? Consuming. Perpetuating your distracted state. It's all distractions. And so that's the one thing, is your power being fucking dormant, and your vision, and your goals, your everything going to shit. But just talk about your personal development in the tangible, the literal sense, not a grander vision, which that is tangible, but your body, that's not being prioritized. Your finances, whether that's entrepreneurial or your career, that's not being prioritized. The relationship that you could have, right? Not the one that you've settled for, not the situationship garbage. That's not being prioritized. That's not being worked on. How you take care of yourself, right? That's not being made a fucking priority. That's not something that you're addressing on a daily basis. Whatever your business is and your consistency with your content, you showing up, right? All of that is being forfeited. You can't think fucking clearly. When I started this university, I could not read more than a couple pages without needing a stimulus. My brain was so fucking broken. I could not sit still without needing a stimulation of some sort from perpetual indefinite scrolling, unlimited fucking dopamine. So I literally didn't have the attention span more than a goldfish, which is actually a fact. The average person has a shorter attention span than a fucking goldfish. So if you can't concentrate on a single thing, if they've set up the system to where you can't harbor any sort of delayed gratification from the world that they've created of come eat this fucking cake, all this instant gratification garbage, what fucking chance do you have of making anything great, of becoming anyone great, of achieving anything of worth, of value? If a fucking cake is so easily and immediately available, it's worthless. Does that make sense? Your body is the same way. There's a good reason you can't get your dream physique over fucking night. You have to earn it. It's patience. It's work ethic. It's consistency. It's discipline. It's delayed gratification. The depth of your relationship is the same thing. It's years and years of watering, years and years of problems and argumentation, and the overcoming of those together. That's what strengthens and deepens the bond. You go through things together, you grow through them together. All of that is forfeit from this world of instant gratification. I can go on an app on my phone to get laid, to order food. I don't have to leave my fucking house for anything. That's the world that we live in today. You don't have to try. That's why people don't put any effort. That's why if you do put in effort, including the effort to just be your fucking self and not create a compelling spectacle, not put on all this showmanship, there's no competition. Why? Because you are 1,000% unique. No one can replicate you. You are one of motherfucking one. Do you understand that? In the world of AI, knowledge is forfeit. Knowledge will be everywhere. It's instant. Imagine this. You're a lawyer. I can have an AI that has memorized the entire corpus of law in every trial that has ever been conducted in the history of time. Why would I need you? I have infinite knowledge, and I don't need to get paid. And I can work 24 hours a day. That's impossible to compete with. But your uniqueness, nobody can replace, right? No one can be you. No one is youer than you. It's like fucking Dr. Seuss. And it's also in the book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. It's one of the scrolls. It's a very good book. It's in this university by O.G. Mendino. I would highly recommend it. I'm literally swallowing blood right now. TMI. It's written in fable form, just like The Alchemist. It's so beautiful. It's why it's in the university. It's an amazing book. Yeah. Keep them distracted while you have the oppression. While they have to wear a fucking mask for 3 years. While you get to cherry pick whose businesses can and can't stay open, who can provide for their families. Yeah, we've forgotten about all of that. 3 years of that. Long forgotten. From distraction of new garbage. Don't forget. The game is not forgetting. Right? Because that's how tyranny stands. They'll take inches and inches and inches until we say fuck off enough. Sweden was the first one to do it. And you know what I'm talking about with all the masks that we had to fucking wear. Sweden said, we're not playing this bullshit anymore. Sweden was the catalyst for everyone else to say, we're done with this bullshit. And then they fuck off. And then they come out with a new thing in the guise of safety. For you to forego your freedom. No, but for your safety. It's for your safety. There's a skit, it's so funny. Because you know how the Chick-fil-A guys, they have to say, my pleasure? This guy, he says, oh, you're welcome. I mean my pleasure. I said my pleasure. I said my pleasure. These guys take him away, and then you hear a gunshot in a flash, and he's dead, and a new employee comes in. Hey, how can I help you? Okay, my pleasure. Where was the other guy? There wasn't any other guy. So good. Does that make sense? What I just said prior to the my pleasure thing. I lost my train of thought. Sweden was the one to say fuck off, right? So they took inches. And then the guys that, no, we'll give you your God-given rights back. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. What should be. The Constitution says, we here are endowed with these unalienable rights, that amongst which are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. No, I have to take those away from you for your safety. Right? While they fuck you. While they make money off of you. Right? They call it big pharma. Yeah, while we make billions and billions of dollars. Right? Every time I had to get a fucking antigen test, every time I had to get a PCR test, that's one of these little units, and there's countless of them in a single city, and there's a million, fucking thousands of cities. Let's do some basic math here. You hear what I'm saying? Just open your eyes and you can see all of this garbage. That's why it's such a gift. In the time of history that we're living in right now, my God, what a gift we have as American citizens, if you're watching this, for our current leadership, and even on a global scale. On a global scale, from the leadership that our presidency right now, this administration is imploring from all the fucking tyranny we've been subject to for the past 4 years prior. My God, enjoy this freedom while you can. Enjoy this transparency while you can, where they're showing where all the fraud, all the taxpayer money fraud was being allocated towards. In your lifetime, in our lifetime, we may never get this kind of transparency, this kind of actual leadership. My God. I put that on my Instagram today. I said I feel so fucking blessed, so grateful that we have these kind of leaders, because courage is as contagious as cowardice. So when you see people enact courage to speak the goddamn truth, it inspires other people to speak their truth, to stand up to bullies, to stand up for what's right, to stand up against tyranny. Because the way tyranny stands is they take an inch, then we say fuck off, then they back off, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, and then over time, because all these motherfuckers has is time. That's all they have. They've taken miles. And you're in a new normal. A new normal. Just food for thought, man. If it's all food for thought, while they poison the food, while you're addicted to scrolling, while they have your dopamine sensors fucked, when you're waking up with no pull motivation, no excitement, no passion, right? Wondering why. Or maybe you don't even bother to ask that question. I would challenge you to wake the fuck up and start asking that question. Why do I not feel full of energy? As if it was normal to not be full of vitality, to be full of energy. They're motherfucking poisoning you. Literally poisoning the food supply, literally poisoning your mind, fucking your mental health, perpetuating depression. All this garbage. It's done and orchestrated on purpose. And then when they can't get to you, the person who thinks for their fucking self, who do they attack? Your children. Let me put a pride flag in the classroom. Mommy, what's a lesbian? What's a trans? What's all this garbage? To a fucking child. And then what happens as a result when they get a little older? Hormone blockers, chemical castration. These are sick motherfuckers, dude. Because they can't get to you, they get to this generation. And what's the result, man? Confusion of malleable fucking minds. Of these sheep. And sheep in the very innocent sense, not because they're stupid. I'm talking about a fucking 6-year-old who doesn't know any better and who shouldn't need to know any better. But if you, as the cognizant, intellectual, developed adult, are lacking the clarity from perpetual distraction, you are fucked. And your kids, and your family. Your life is forfeit if you don't wake the fuck up. If you don't see what is happening around you. If you don't enact my unmatched perspicacity. Simple ability to perceive. Just looking around at what the fuck is going on. And saying, I think this is all bullshit. I don't think this is serving my best interest. There's a quote from George Orwell, author of 1984. They fear a world of love because it's a world they can't control. Imagine that. Imagine we had these kind of lectures, open, honest, transparent, discussing, healing together. We wouldn't want that to go too popular, because what would happen in a world where people were healed and could have these open and honest conversations? Wow. Then we'd be able to walk each other home. It has become my new favorite quote. We're all just walking each other home. Of consciousness. Of fucking waking each other up. And the trick is, once you're awake, to not go back to sleep. But there's professionals at making you go back to sleep, because the distractions, the spectacles, that's how they lull you back to sleep, man. No, forget about your dreams and goals and dream partner and relationships and just all of that. No. Just stay distracted. Right? Stay emotionally manipulated by WWE, by garbage. Eat the cake. Get the instant gratification, right? See if that satisfies your fucking soul, your fulfillment. Pretend to be a character that you're not. No. We'll pay you. We'll pay you handsomely. God damn it. I put on my phone, there was this sister and this kid, and she was like, do you want to know how much I made this week from OnlyFans? And it was $250,000. And that's when I turned off my phone. I said it's so sad that is what is rewarded, celebrated, incentivized. Do you think that's done on accident? No, that's all done on purpose to create this world of fucking promiscuity, of degeneracy, of stupidity, of these fucking idiots, these losers. But because they are able to get all of this money and get all of these high profiles, high status, blue check marks, these fast, whatever, expensive cars. These are lifestyles that the young kids aspire to be. Mommy, I can't wait to be a fucking whore when I grow up. Wow. Are you proud of me? That's the world we fucking live in today. And so I ask you, to what end? When you're creating a spectacle, when you're selling your fucking soul, if you've gained the world, what the fuck have you gained? If it was at the cost of you. Because by the time you want to be yourself, man, you've already gone fucked. You're already wrecked. And all you have to do is just study any person on a long enough time horizon who has had to play a character that's not them. To what end? And that's when all the celebrity people who go in and out of fucking rehab, they say, oh, the money's not going to solve your problems because of all this. No, playing a fucking character who's not you is not going to solve your goddamn problems. Being a fake motherfucker for the recognition, approval, acceptance from people who don't give a fuck about you, that's the path omni-traveled, right? All traveled. That's not the path least traveled, right? The narrow one. The road to heaven looks like hell. The road to hell looks like heaven. Okay. To continue. I love this. It ties into the quote that I just said, but it's from Niccolo Machiavelli, who was the biggest inspiration for Robert Greene for the 48 Laws of Power. The prince should, at fitting times of the year, keep the people occupied and distracted with festivities and spectacles. When Rome was burning, there was just running circuses and festivities while the fucking empire was crumbling in real time. So understand that. It's all a distraction to keep you asleep. well, the whole thing is going in the dirt. I posted this on Instagram today. I said, we're in a financial crisis no one's talking about. Nobody's talking about it. We're literally in probably a nationwide and perhaps a global-wide recession, depression. If you just look at the interest accrual of our country, that's outpacing our earnings. And so the only result that's ever happened in the history of time has been printing as a consequence. And when a country starts printing, they can't stop printing. And so your currency gets perpetually devalued. Think of, I put this on Instagram today, I think of Germany after World War I, where it took a barrel of their, I forget what they were called, Deutsche Marks or something, to buy a loaf of bread. So you're seeing the downfall of the US dollar in real fucking time. But nobody's talking about that. The average credit card interest rate, average, it's like 28%. It's criminal what they're fucking doing. Nobody talks about that. This ends at some point, right? But they're able to keep you distracted, And you feel it when you go to the grocery store and 5 dozen eggs is $43, $46 fucking dollars. I texted that to my brother. I said, what the fuck is this? Eggs are a luxury item. And so you're financially, you feel yourself a little bit getting squeezed. You're paying your minimum payments on all of your debt. You feel a little tighter. And you're just like, But nobody posts about that. Nobody talks about it. Because we don't want panic. We don't want the sheep panicking if we told them how, they're getting fucked, how the world is burning. No, let's keep them distracted. Let's keep them on alcohol. Let's keep them on drugs. Let's keep them overworked. Let's keep them sleep deprived. Let's keep their food poisoned. Then you don't have any clarity. Because if you did, you would feel a sense of urgency. That was my last quote. I set myself up always. So the next one, law number 38, if you're interested, if you're going to tune in tomorrow, if I can fucking talk, think as you like, but behave like others. That's law number 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. And then I put smile, nod, and do whatever the fuck you were going to do anyway. A powerful tactic that I've had to utilize so many times to people who insist on giving me techniques or lessons or advice and suggestions. And I'm so grateful. I learned this from Alex Ramosi. He said, this will save you a lot of time and energy. When someone's giving you advice, ask yourself, do I want to be them? Do I want their life? No? Then I'm not going to take your fucking advice. Look at them up and down and say, do I want to be you? Do I want to have your character, your morals, your virtues, right? No. Then why the fuck would I take your advice? Your advice, right, has gotten you, if you've enacted it, to the place you're currently right now. And if you're not a person or in a place that I aspire to be, why in the fuck would I heed your counsel when it has proven with you and your embodiment to be the utmost route to failure? But people do. People take all of the advice and counsel from fucking losers. And so I had to do that. I had to smile, nod, and say, go fuck yourself. When my oldest brother would tell me you're wasting your time with what you're studying, classics at UCLA, wasting your time, wasting your money, fuck off. You traveling, waste of time, waste of money, waste of all this. This is failure, this is loser. Fuck off. It's hard when it's family, but you have to do that. You have to be that person that says, no, I'm not living a life that isn't me. I'm going to live a life of passion, of alignment with who I am, with what I want to do, with where my excitement is veering me towards. I'm not going to be what is comfortable in the fucking box that you want to keep me in, right? Go fuck yourself. Family, go fuck yourself. Peers, coworkers, go fuck yourself. But so many people don't have the courage to do that. To what? To be themselves. To do what they want to do. To do what makes them happy, right? So, choice is yours, right? Pursue the spectacle route. Don't be a fucking character that you're not. Put on the showmanship. Prince Ali, blah, blah. Just be fucking Aladdin, dude. Be tart, folks. See you guys next time.